Hi, welcome back to our Mastering Mobile Marketing video series and part 2 on GDPR. My name is Megan and I'm Senior Strategic Growth Manager at Yodel. Last time we covered some of the basics of GDPR. Today we're going to talk about some of the ways you can prepare for it. If you haven't seen part 1, click here now to watch it first. The steps we will cover today are employee education, information audits, privacy policies, user-facing elements, analytics implications. So, employee education. The first step is to make sure all employees have some basic knowledge of GDPR and what its implications are. Even if this is just the knowledge that we have to have permission to share personal data in new ways, such as sharing with third parties. With everyone aware of the basics, your employees will know which situations may require advice from a data protection expert and will know when to bring these people in accordingly. Note too that if your company regularly and systematically processes personal data on a large scale, you will need to appoint a DPO or data protection officer. This person will monitor and advise on compliance. Now onto the information audit. You need to have a full understanding on what personal data you collect, why you collect it, and how you use it. If you find that you're not sure why you collect a lot of the data that you do, you might need to think about reducing the amount of data that you collect. Consider future requirements as well. For example, if you plan to launch an email retention strategy in the future, it may be worth opting users in as early as possible so you don't have to go back and ask them again. What you do with your data will also help you to understand what the user needs consent to if this is your legal basis for processing. For example, a user would need to opt into any direct marketing as well as sharing data with third parties. Now on to privacy policies. Once you have a clear understanding of what personal data you need and how you use it, you can move on to your privacy policy. It's essential that your privacy policy explains in enough detail your data processing requirements, and this must be written in an easily understandable language. The easiest way to ensure this is to check out Article 13 of the GDPR text. You can essentially use this as a checklist of what needs to be included. However, the privacy policy alone will not be enough to become compliant. You must also consider your user-facing implications. This mainly applies to consent. It's common practice to hide everything behind a link, for example terms and conditions or the privacy policy, but this will no longer suffice. A short explanation of the processing required should also be included. This is so that the user has some information in front of them on what they are opting into, rather than hidden behind a lengthy link. It is therefore likely that at least your registration and onboarding process will require some tweaks. Consider too that for consent to be valid, you cannot use currently widespread practices such as a pre-ticked box or opt-out. Lastly, there are some analytics implications. You must be able to prove that a particular person has opted in or out of a particular processing requirement. This will require some changes to your analytics tracking. Ideally, you want to include meta tags on whether someone opts in or out and on what date. You'll also need to keep records of any users exercising their rights, such as the right to object to processing. This means that you'll be covered and accountable for any data processing you undertake in the event of an investigation. So there you have it, just some of the steps you can take to prepare for the new law. Don't forget to check out part 1 on GDPR, otherwise check out some of the other videos in our Mastering Mobile Marketing series. Please hit thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.